Hello and welcome back to EANM TV. My name is Roy Shepherd and today's topic is the ICNC 26 event, which is a focus on nuclear cardiology, and I have been joined by two people who know all about it. We have Samia Massalha and Mouaz H. Al-Mallah. How was that? Nearly close. Samia, can you just tell us a little bit about your professional background? What do you do?
Cardiologist in training, and I'm the director of nuclear cardiology in Haifa.
All right, okay, Mouaz?
And I'm Mouaz Al-Mallah. I'm the past president of the American Society of Nuclear Cardiology, and I am director of cardiac PET in Houston Methodist.
All right, so can you just tell us, simple question, what is ICNC 26?
So ICNC stands for International Congress on Nuclear Cardiology. This has long history within American Society of Nuclear Cardiology. It was one of the international collaborations between our founders, ASNC founders, and European leaders in nuclear medicine. It started way back in mid 90s, and it continued, and this year it's coming up with a new collaboration between EANM and American Society of Nuclear Cardiology.
Why collaborations now? Because in the past, everything was very siloed and very protective of their events and things, but that's changing. There's far more collaboration than there's ever been before.
I mean, nuclear cardiology is all about collaboration. Patients are seen by cardiologists, referred to nuclear medicine, and they do or nuclear cardiologists, they have their procedures done. And here we're putting the patient in the center. We're trying to see how we can all best serve the patient. So we want to bring the experience from the US, learn from the experience in Europe, and try to bring the best to our colleagues around the world from faculty that will come from North America, from Europe, and from all around the world, to tell them how nuclear cardiology can best serve their patients in different indications: coronary disease, inflammation, infection, viability, all of these indications where nuclear cardiology makes a big difference in the management of these patients.
Fantastic. What would you say are the new developments in nuclear cardiology, and how do you think it's impacting patient care? And I'll ask you as well.
Well, nuclear cardiology is entering a very fascinating era. There's a lot of development in the field, whether it's hardware, software, tracers, and also the massive use of AI in nuclear cardiology. So we have
practical use or playing around use?
Practical use, and I can give an example from what I do. We implement a stress only or stress first MPIs, and we have a software, we have an algorithm go through all the referrals, and instead of one of us protocoling, and it goes through all the referrals, we trained it what to look for. And anyone that doesn't have a cardiac disease or a coronary disease, they know how to schedule it to a stress first test.
And what sort of time frame were you able to develop that? Because I'm just amazed at how quickly things are accelerating and keep doing so.
So we have an amazing team, and we had to test it took us about half a year. So we tested it, and then we implemented it.
All right, so what would you say are the new developments?
I mean, in addition to everything Samia mentioned, I would say we have a lot of new tracers, new applications, new cameras. It will allow us to reach by far more patients, and it allows us to do more things to that. I'm going to give a couple examples. Cardiac PET is growing in the US and it's around the world. We're seeing more patients referred for that, and more importantly, it is endorsed in the guidelines. For example, the European guidelines written by non-imagers gave 3 class 1 indications to cardiac PET in assessment of patients with suspected cardiac disease. Now we have new tracers, new cameras that allow us to do cardiac PET at a larger scale and reach more patients. In addition to that, In the US, for example, not a lot of patients are getting cardiac PET for infection assessment. Now it's a class 1 indication in the European guidelines, and now it is a test that helped save many lives in the US and around the world. So I think this is a very important test to educate our colleagues around the world about the importance of these tests whenever needed and when appropriately used, and how it does it impact our patients and their lives.
This is not a trick question, and it's an unfair question in a way, but is the EU and EANM ahead of the curve? Are they doing things with things like guidelines that are ahead of everybody else? And I'm referring to the US there.
And look, this is a whole spectrum. In certain things, they're ahead. For example, infection imaging, it's much better done in the EU. But if you take PET MPI, it's actually better done in the US. So that's why
is that because
international,
of funding?
Well, funding, availability, and the culture of doing it. And I think this is very important. Why we have this collaborative conference. We learn from each other. They learn about PET MPI. We learn about infection endocarditis and others, and we collaborate so that we educate our general membership, both at ASNC, EANM, and the global cardiac imaging community, about how they can use these techniques to help better serve their patients.
Okay, Samia, can I ask you to do a pitch? Who do you want to attend the ICNC event, and why should they?
So
you can hold it closer.
Yeah. Okay, so nuclear cardiologists or trainees of nuclear cardiologists, there's tons to learn. There's the hands-on for everything almost, for cardiomyopathies, for MPIs, for amyloidosis, all inflammation and infiltration. And basically any trainees are a yes to attend. And also nuclear cardiologists, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of new things to learn, new implementations, new tracers that nobody like fluoropyridaz, that nobody until lately witnessed or experienced. Not everybody works with it. It's not approved by all countries, but it will be in, and it's worth learning in ICNC.
Is there anything that, is that what you call it? ICNC?
Yeah, well.
This is kind of the name that, slogan that people have used. But
if you have time, I can say the whole word, the whole sentence.
I think in addition to nuclear cardiologists, referring physicians, people who refer for these procedures, technologists, we have a lot of sessions that can be dedicated to technologists, physicists, because we have some talks about physics and newer tools that are available, and obviously primarily the physicians, whether they are in practice or in training from different sectors, technologists, physicists, nurses, anybody who's involved in nuclear cardiology one way or the other, from referral to reporting to performing. I think they will find something interesting in this meeting.
It's interesting, with the background as a cynical journalist, I'm thinking to myself, you've listed just about everybody and anybody. You just want everybody to come. But what I'm hearing is that here is a really great example of interdisciplinary working. So all of these different people see different facets of the entire thing.
And everybody will have something to learn, to find exciting in this meeting. If you want to learn how to interpret certain scans, we have hands-on sessions. If you're just a physicist and you want to learn about new scanners, we have sessions on that. If you're a physician who just refer to these modalities and you want to know what are the strengths and weaknesses of these modalities, we have sessions dedicated to you. If you want to learn about new tracers, we have sessions dedicated to that. So it's a whole 2.5 or 3 day learning experience that you will learn. You will become up to date on the applications of nuclear cardiology, the old ones, the updated ones, and the new ones.
All right, I'm just going to pick up on something you just said. If I was a physicist, I'd say, just physicist? I'm sure you didn't mean it quite like that.
If you are a physicist, that do not deal with patient care. We rely on physicists on every aspect of image performance.
Well recovered there. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, interventional cardiologists, they have a lot to see, when to intervene. We're addressing all that. And echocardiographers too, because we're addressing amyloidosis, sarcoidosis, and etc. Any cardiologist.
As heart failure specialist too, because there's a lot of topics that touch on heart failure and how they can use these modalities to best serve their patients.
I mean, you mentioned earlier on about guidelines in the EU. How can this conference serve as a platform to help clinicians, I mean, worldwide, not just in the EU, translate the guideline recommendations into their daily practice?
Yeah, I mean, we will have sessions about practical tips on how to learn from each other experience. So somebody from the EU will tell, for example, our colleagues from North America how to implement infection imaging, something that's not done as widely in the US. Vice versa, we will have the physicians or the thought leaders from the North American perspective present on how they implemented myocardial perfusion imaging with PET, for example, or newer cameras in there. So I think it's all about learning from each other's successes and how to mitigate the failures and obstacles and try how to make a curve around.
When is it and where is it?
It's in Berlin and it's in May, and we would like to see you there, 17 to 19.
All right, well, I had it written down in case you forget. Thank you very much indeed. So May 17th to the 19th in Berlin, and that's the ICNC 26. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you get better. You've done very, very well.
Thank you.
You're coughing and got a bit of a cold, not wanting to sit too close to us. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the Congress.
Thank you very much.
All right, great. That's all from us for the time being. We'll be back again soon.